had something I want to talk about.
Hashtag resting. I'm getting really rich.
Maybe you just clicked something at the same. Okay, yeah, that was wild. I just like flashed.
Is this it or what? Like, okay. I was like, dude, how many windows do I have to open?
Oh, shit. Oh, I'll have YouTube up. Should be. Because if I'm on it, we'll have at least one concurrent viewer.
Derpy's in the chat. What up, Derpy? We do a little Madden 25 after the show today. Anybody who interested in hanging out? Sam, what's up, buddy? Sam, I liked your videos last night. You had a video of them carrying that light pole through Philly. I thought that was funny. What just happened to this computer? It's hating me right now. Nice, dude. Nice. Yeah, we're compiling our content right now. I did the Kenny Pickett stats so far, Sammy. That's what I got so far, and they stole. Did they find where it is? The best part about that is they greased them all up, and yet still they were like, "Screw it, we'll just pull them out of the ground."
I was saying, while we have a minute here while we're waiting, let's talk to Derpy real quick, because he says the Super Bowl blew, and I don't know if I agree with him. I kind of had a good time.
I don't think so.
I had a good time watching that.
I thought the defensive
play
was beautiful.
I hoped. I hope that every Chiefs fan cried themselves to
I
sleep.
guess we shouldn't chew up all the content we're in the starting soon screen now that I think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Derpy, I would say that I enjoyed it from a defensive aspect. I think that watching
great defensive game by the Eagles.
Yeah, I think that what the Eagles put together was something stellar to watch. I'll put it that way. Watching Patrick Mahomes be miserable too, 10 out of 10, would pay to watch that again.
Gonna roll the intro, boys.
Okay.
You're up.
What is up, everybody? Kenny Pickett has thrown more passes in the Super Bowl than Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Tua, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, and Dak Prescott. My name's Ben Kepler,
I'm Ben Uconis.
and this is the Wombo Combo Show. Hope you guys are doing well today. Football season has wrapped itself up, a good one at that. I think the Super Bowl was pretty great. In the pregame, or pre-show chat here, Derpy saying that he didn't love it. We were kind of talking back and forth on it. I enjoyed the defensive.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought it was a good game. I will say I wish it was a little bit closer in the first half, so it would have been a little bit more entertaining to watch in the first half. But watching the Eagles destroy the Chiefs in the first half was also worth it.
I disagree with you on that. I'm so happy that the Eagles just, laid the wood down on the Chiefs. Just put the nail right in the coffin.
Dude,
so
the belt. They gave them the belt in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, to be completely honest, it wasn't even a close matchup in the first half.
It was an onslaught.
Yeah.
From the coin toss.
Let's take a look at some of the stats out of this, because as much as we thought Patrick Mahomes was struggling, his stats ended up being pretty half decent.
Yeah, garbage time.
Time stats. Yes, absolutely.
There was a point in time where I was like, okay, maybe the Chiefs could come back. They scored in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just everything was too little, too late.
Exactly.
The damage had already been done.
I think there was, like 3 minutes left in the third quarter when they scored that touchdown. They went for a 2-point conversion. They didn't get the 2-point conversion, and that was kind of what was like, ugh. You had mentioned during the game that Devonta Smith touchdown was the dagger.
Oh, yeah.
That is what just killed it. Yeah. That ended the game. I kind of agree with you there. Jalen Hurts got the MVP. Dude, the stats on him.
Well deserved.
Pretty crazy. Accurate as all hell. 17 of 22.
Yes.
2 touchdowns. The interception that we watched, it was a floater. He got hit. He was getting pushed back while he threw it. So it ended up being short and was intercepted by Connor, I believe is who it was, their safety. I'll kind of give him that one, to be completely honest. And this is coming from a guy who doesn't usually give Jalen Hurts flowers, ever. You know this.
Yeah.
I'm not one to do that.
He played a great game.
He did.
I mean, for the most part, other than that one interception, he was careful with the football. He was flawless. He did have 11 carries for 72 yards on the ground, plus the push touchdown. So, I mean, yeah, flowers to Jalen Hurts, man. You deserve to be the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
You deserve to be that entire Eagles team deserves
either the
deserved
defensive
everything
coordinator
they got
or him. Yeah. It's Jalen Hurts or the defensive coordinator or the defense for the Eagles.
Yeah,
they were the highlights. Absolutely,
they were great Sunday night.
Absolutely.
So.
Devonta Smith, like we said, the dagger touchdown. He had 4 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown. Also, A.J. Brown had a touchdown.
Yes, he did.
It was crazy. We were watching this live, and what's the head coach's name? Sirianni. Sorry, couldn't remember it for a second. Sirianni and A.J. Brown got into an argument on the sideline. AJ pulls his book out real quick, reads a little passage, goes in, scores a touchdown. Yeah. So that was pretty crazy to watch.
And then they took the book away from him.
Yeah, and then I found out later on they weren't taking the book away from him. There was a trainer who is like, he's a specified guy who holds on to the book for him.
Oh, so it's like here, whenever you're mad, read the book.
He's the bookkeeper.
Okay. All right.
He's the bookkeeper.
Right.
So, yeah, a little different. On the other side of the football, one player I did want to highlight who did have a great game. I know some of it was in garbage time, but these stats are pretty great. 2 touchdowns, 157 yards, 8 catches for Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, nothing to sneeze at.
No. I mean, as a rookie, that's really great in your first performance in a Super Bowl, so I wanted to just throw that out there. I didn't want to give Chiefs a lot in this game, but that was one of the things. Xavier Worthy was eaten of anybody.
And that's scary for next year because it's just going to show that Mahomes has another Tyreek Hill-esque
100%.
speed guy
100%.
that he could just chuck it deep to. So,
did you see DeAndre Hopkins after the Super Bowl, his comments that he made to the press?
No, I did not.
So he came on and said, what are you going to say now about the refs? There were some fluky calls in that game that didn't go our way, so I guess it isn't the refs that got us there, huh?
Yeah, no. The Eagles just beat you guys, beat them first. But it started off bad. That terrible pass interference call, offensive pass interference call on A.J. Brown when they were just hand fighting.
Yeah. Now,
like, I mean, he got him in the face.
Right.
That's clear. Like in the replay, it got him in the face. But it wasn't like he shoved him away.
No. In a normal football game, that would have been called.
Yeah. No.
Especially in the first quarter.
So, and then the phantom false start on the field goal.
Yeah, that one. I did want to mention
on the center.
True.
Like
yeah. On the snap, they called it on the snapper.
On the snapper. Yeah. Like no, that the Chiefs clearly jumped first.
100%.
In that, So, but like. There were some bad calls.
There were some bad calls that I wanted to. There was one bad call that I wanted to say on the other side of the football, just to kind of even the playing field a little bit. Dallas Goedert, when he got that roughing the hitter or roughing the receiver.
Yeah,
that unnecessary roughness was not worth it. That wasn't really a penalty, in my opinion. I think that was a little bit of a loose call, and it kind of made up for the A.J. Brown one. I think that's what it was for.
Yeah, no, I agree. That wasn't really that shouldn't have been a penalty on for that hit on Dallas Goedert.
No, not at all. So Chiefs fans, we do have some plight with you. You know, we do kind of feel that there is some things in that game that didn't go your way that should have gone your way. But Eagles, second Super Bowl win. Philly on fire probably still. Most likely.
It definitely still smoldering.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy that here in Pittsburgh, if you went out in Oakland, which is where Pittsburgh University is, for those who don't know the Pittsburgh area, it is filled with Philly kids for college.
Yeah, a lot of kids go to Pitt from the Philly area.
Pitt was also wild during the Super Bowl, which I thought was pretty crazy.
I can assume IUP was going pretty crazy as well.
Right.
They got a lot of kids from the Philly area as well.
Nick Sirianni. All my roommates from college.
Yeah, right? See?
My alma mater there. Also from my alma mater is Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
There's 3 coaches on the Eagles staff that are from that coached at IUP at some point.
One of them is some sort of assistant. One of them does something in the office. Like one of them's an assistant coach of some sort.
Yeah, they're all on the staff.
Mm-hmm. And then you've got Sirianni, the head coach.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So IUP, let's go. Other things from this game that I want to talk about while we were on the subject of coaching. One of those coaches is leaving from the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes, one of those coaches is leaving.
So
tell them where.
Yeah, it looks like the Saints, the last team to get their head coach, have finally acquired their guy. It's Kellen Moore.
Yep,
I think it's going to be a good hire.
Officially hired him today.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a good hire. I think it's going to add a lot to what you see in Rashid Shaheed, what you see in Olave, what you see out of Alvin Kamara, and whoever they move forward with a quarterback, whether that's Spencer Rattler, whether that's Derek Carr.
Yeah,
I think that is a plus for them, having a very offensive-minded guy who can build plays, build scheme that can break down defenses like we've seen against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl there.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
I think he's a really good offensive-minded guy, clearly. I liked him when he was in college, too. He went to Boise State.
Quarterback.
Played quarterback at Boise State. I liked him in college. Obviously didn't pan out in the NFL.
No.
But, I mean, good coach.
He was the youngest, I think, offensive coordinator ever when he got that job with the Dallas Cowboys, if I remember correctly.
I think he's still only, 30?
He's like our age.
Yeah, he's like 34, 35.
Mm-hmm. He's like our age. Yeah. So, I mean, dude, you're doing way better than us. We're doing a podcast. You're running a team.
Yeah.
It looks like he is trying to bring one of the other Philly coaches with him, the assistant coach.
Yeah.
He's trying to bring him along. Name of that guy, Kevin Patullo. So he is the lead candidate for offensive coordinator right now in Saints land. So NOLA Nation, keep an eye open.
Yeah,
you're getting your staff put together right now.
It'll be interesting to see how he can deal with the pressures of being a head coach as well.
For sure, because
it's a whole different atmosphere when you're the head coach.
And he's Kellen Moore has been around the league a little bit too.
Yeah.
I mean, he was at the Chargers, I believe it was last season. He was with the Cowboys and then the Chargers.
Yeah. He started with the Cowboys and then he as a quarterbacks coach and worked. Was he the OC for the Cowboys at some point? Mm-hmm. Okay, so he worked his way up to the OC position and then went to the Chargers as the OC
and didn't do well.
Well, they had a terrible head coach.
They had Staley was a terrible head coach.
So because it shows with how the Chargers were this year with less talent on offense.
Mm-hmm.
So
good coaching, better team.
Yeah,
100%.
So, but I think Kellen Moore will. I think he'll be okay.
I think that
his first year as a head coach.
He's at least a 500. They're at least a 500 team.
Yeah, they're in a weaker division in the NFC South.
Mm-hmm. My new favorite team's down there, Panthers.
Oh yeah,
I got to root for the Panthers. I said I was going to.
Yeah,
it's got to happen.
It's all you, bud.
We were talking about Staley there for a second. I wanted to add that he is also the guy who is. They're looking like he's going to make him the DC down at the Saints. He's rumored to be the guy they're going to bring in. So Kellen Moore might bring along Staley to be the defensive coordinator. Now I will admit, when Staley was a defensive coordinator, he's very good. Kind of like an Eberflus.
I forget where he was. Do you remember where he was?
I don't off the top of my head. I don't. I think he might have been with the Chargers. I think he might have got the job through the Chargers. We'll have to look that up, and we'll talk about that during the Madden thing there, unless you wanted to grab it real quickly.
I'll look at it.
Other things that I wanted to cover that are NFL related, we still have Myles Garrett, who's being shopped around. A lot of teams are thinking he's going to end up maybe with Washington. That seems like it's one of the major buyers on this who have money, who could trade for him, have the draft picks that are mid enough to not lose too much by acquiring them. So that's something to take a look at moving here into the offseason. Obviously, there's a lot of people who think the Browns might keep Myles Garrett and then draft Abdul Carter to go along with him. That's something that when we get into our team breakdowns that we'll be doing here, a series called 32 Teams, 32 Days, we'll break down the Browns and see what kind of possibilities are going to be available for them. So make sure you're following along and paying attention for that because we're going to drop that series here coming up in the next couple weeks heading into the draft. Other people who are. Did you find it?
I did find it.
Where was he at?
So before he was the head coach, he was the defensive coordinator with the Rams.
Rams, okay.
And then he was with the Broncos as a linebackers coach, and Chicago as a linebackers coach as well.
Okay. So he's under the McVay tree.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that kind of makes sense. We'll see what happens with that defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator positions for the Saints as they, have officially hired their head coach in Kellen Moore. I think it might be Staley. Other person who announced he wants to be traded and has been given permission to do so, someone you used to love, someone that one of our guests that we've had on loves and was ranting about on Facebook here today, Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, Deebo Samuels. He's kind of entered the list of never drafting again for fantasy football.
Yeah, dude. I don't know how Steelers fans feel about that. Derpy, if you're in chat, let us know how you feel about acquiring Deebo Samuel. I personally hate it. I think he's old. I think he's slow. I think he's added too much weight. I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying he's past his prime. This isn't you're acquiring a game-changing player.
He's 29 years old. He's coming off a down year. He was never really like a great receiver.
No, he was a gadget guy.
He's a gadget guy. Mm-hmm. You can throw him in the backfield, hand him the ball, use him on reverses and all these things. He doesn't have the greatest hands in the world. I would much rather see the Steelers go out and get Cooper Kupp because Cooper Kupp actually has hands. But the similarity between these two players is that one, they're aging. Mm-hmm. Two, they're both injury prone.
Yes. They have a skill set that only fits one area now at their age, too.
Yeah, and plus, who's going to throw them the ball here in Pittsburgh? We don't know if it's going to be Justin Fields. We don't know if it's going to be some rookie we draft. We don't know if it's going to be some old quarterback
Who do you have in mind?
Free agency. Aaron Rodgers. I hate that. I hate that so much.
I think I hate that more than Deebo.
I do not want Aaron Rodgers to come to the black and gold. I do not want to see that happen. He is a shell of himself.
Yeah, dude, go away.
Yeah.
We do not want you here. I'm sorry, Aaron. You just don't fit the Pittsburgh vibe, in any way, shape, or form, and you're too old and not very good. I think, personally, on the Deebo side of things, I think he ends up with the Carolina Panthers, to be completely honest. He's from Carolina. He graduated from South Carolina.
Yeah.
He's got a heavy Carolina accent, kind of like Leggett. You just don't hear him do the interviews all that much. I think he would go. I think that both of them would be good there, Cooper Kupp and Deebo at the Panthers. You replace Thielen with Cooper Kupp, boom. That's immediately you have the same guy over again because that's the level that Cooper's at now is Adam Thielen, right? That's what I think at least.
So Adam Thielen's still there. He's not. He's going to give it another go.
He's going to give it another go?
He's going to give it another go. They got two young guys that they like down there.
Coker and Leggett.
And Coker. So, I don't see them making a move for either Kupp or Deebo.
No?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Okay. Do you think that the Panthers are going to just stick with what they had from last year? So you're going to see Chuba Hubbard and Leggett, Coker, and
Thielen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. They ended up the season not that bad.
Yeah.
Right? The defense is what really needs a retooling.
Yeah.
So they had Ashawn Robinson, who came over from the Giants. I think that he was probably one of their best players on defense. They had, what's his name? Number 1 overall pick for the Texans back in the day. Crowder? No, not Crowder. But the DN.
Yeah.
Whoever his name. They had him. Yeah, I don't know why I can't think of his freaking name
because he's not that good.
Because he's not that good. But he's also
bounced around the league. He was with the Browns for a year.
Yeah, he's also a South Carolina guy, which is kind of why I feel like maybe Deebo goes up there. I don't know. That's kind of my feeling on it. Is people want to go home kind of deal.
I could see him going to the Bills.
Bills?
Yeah.
Okay. I could see him on the Bills as well as a gadget player because, Khalil Shakir is just the faster version of him at this point in time, right?
Yeah, he's smaller.
And more agile.
Deebo's bigger. Mm-hmm. He's a bigger guy than Shakir. I can see them doing that. Where else?
For Deebo?
Yeah, for Deebo.
I could see Deebo going somewhere like the Vikings. I could see him going up there. I could also see him ending up on the Cowboys.
You know what? He probably goes to the Cowboys.
That's what. Yeah. As soon as they passed my mind, I was like, "Yeah, it's the Cowboys."
It's the Cowboys.
Another player I wanted to mention, who was all over the TV for the Super Bowl, was great. He was my Super Bowl MVP. Jameis Winston. Now, where do you think he ends up? He did an interview. No, it wasn't really an interview, and I don't think he knew he was being mic'd up at the time, but he was watching the Super Bowl with Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
The comedian, sitting right next to him, and Bert says, "So where do you want to play next year?" And he goes, "Nah, loved it in Cleveland, but I'd like to stay here." They're in New Orleans, so he'd like to go back to New Orleans, kind of where he's from. So another one of those go-home situations. Or I'd like to play somewhere down south, you know what I mean? Somewhere where it's warm, where my family can enjoy it. So I don't think that maybe Cleveland could take him back, but I
don't think Cleveland's going to re-sign him.
No, I could honestly see him going down and being a quarterback either at the Saints, the Buccaneers, maybe being a quarterback, say, for Tennessee, because he did mention Tennessee as well.
Yeah.
I could see him going to Nashville, skipping.
He would actually have a legit chance to play down there in Nashville. Or go back to Tampa and back up Baker.
Depends on what he wants to do at this point in time of his career. Does he want to be a starter? Does he want to be a family man and a backup guy?
I think his time as a starter is done.
100%.
He's a certified backup now.
But he wants to play.
But I like him as a backup. I do. I like him as a backup.
100%. I agree with you.
Come in for a couple games. Unfortunately, with the Browns, he had to play more than a couple games.
And then they benched him.
And then they benched him for DTR, who is worse than Jameson. Jameson can actually throw the ball downfield. DTR,
DTR is just like hikes the ball and looks like a chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah, runs around like, what do I do? What do I do?
Literally the entire time just scrambling. Yeah, so I don't know. For me personally, I think that the best landing spot for Jameis is probably the Tennessee Titans. Regardless if they take a quarterback or not. Say they do. Say they take, or to say Cam Ward that they take, right? Number one. Well, he can sit behind Cam Ward for a couple games, or Cam Ward can sit behind him for a couple games until he's got everything tooled up and ready to go.
Start him week 4,
week 4, week 5, he comes in.
Yeah,
exactly.
I could totally see that happening.
It's kind of like what happened with Drake May and Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah,
I can
totally see that happening down if he signs with Tennessee.
100%. We'll have to see what happens with that. Other things that are going around in the sports world. We had our first game with Luka last night in a Lakers jersey.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Very interesting.
Before the show, producer Paul was letting us know a little bit about what the background story is of this whole Luka debacle. Apparently, the new owners of the Mavs are also casino owners. They're trying to push for the Dallas, Texas area to have casinos in it, and they're kind of holding the team over the city's head and saying, "Hey, if you don't do this, we're going to move the team to Vegas. Look what we did. We just traded Luka away. We have all this stuff now. We'll just get rid of it. We'll just leave. See you later."
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think about that?
I think that's a wild way to get what you want.
It's a stingy.
I
don't love it.
It's grimy.
It's real grimy,
greasy.
Like it would be like
as some would say.
Yeah, it would be, greasy is the best adjective for it. I think it would be like for us here in Pittsburgh, guys. If say 5 years ago, someone tried to trade away Sidney Crosby unless we allowed them to have a casino in downtown Pittsburgh or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just wild. This trade doesn't seem to be going very smoothly for the Mavericks either.
No.
AD did come out. He played his first game. It was
good game.
He had a really good game. The problem with it is he was too much of a tryhard, and he hurt himself, and now he's out multiple weeks.
Yeah.
So, and like the biggest problem about that is that Luka has been injured. The Mavs didn't have Luka. Right now, Luka is back. They've traded him away, and the guy that they got who is supposed to be some sort of replacement in the scheme and lineup of the offense and defense is now out for multiple weeks. They don't have a center. They're hurting. Luka, his first game, what were his stats like?
He only had 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. I'm assuming they didn't play him that many minutes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he was probably on a clock.
Yeah, just getting off an injury. But Anthony Davis, on the other hand, had 26 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks before getting injured.
Probably would have gotten a triple-double if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
He was balling out. He honestly was.
He's good, but the problem is he gets hurt too much.
And that's kind of like with any of those taller athletes like that, dude. You're real tall, those ligaments, you tweak one thing. I mean, there's a lot of
and it just seems like and it's happening with KD as well. Like he got hurt one year and he just can't seem to get fully healthy ever.
Absolutely.
So,
funny thing that I wanted to mention about Luka in his first game, he has already passed LeBron James' son as on the all-time leading scorers of the Lakers.
Oh, because Bronny James is not good at that.
He has 14 points, and he already has passed him up.
He's a solid G League player, and that's all I'll ever be.
Yeah, 100%. Getting back on the football side of things here, Ben, I kind of wanted to talk to you about the Steelers a little bit today in closing on the episode, because we've got the season ending, and we're kind of hearing rumors of things going around.
Really ridiculous predictions of quarterbacks who could land with the Steelers next season.
All kinds of things that are very
ridiculous. One I don't completely hate. The one I hate, we already mentioned him, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, why don't you give me your side, and I'll give you mine afterwards.
I completely hate the fact that we would entertain the fact of bringing Aaron Rodgers here.
Me too. I don't think it would be a good look for our morale.
The Steelers have stated
okay.
that we want a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
We want someone with mobility.
It worked for us better this year with mobility.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, with Justin Fields, when he started the first 6 games, we went 4-2. Mm-hmm. He had 10 total touchdowns. He only had, 1 or 2 picks?
I think he had a total of 1 pick and 2 fumbles, if I'm remembering
and
correctly.
two lost fumbles.
Yes.
A few of them.
Yeah, they were iffy. They were iffy. There were snap problems because we had Frazier getting started. So there was a little bit of excuse. I'm not going to give a big one, but
yeah. And I think if the Steelers re-sign Fields, that issue will be fixed.
100%.
Because Frazier looks like he's going to be an All-Pro. I love that guy.
Me too.
In the center of the line, but I do not want to entertain the thought of bringing Aaron Rodgers here at all.
Me neither.
He's a shell of himself. It showed this year. And he can't. And I mean, he was mobile in his prime. He could move around and stuff. But the problem is, he's 42 years old
and coming off of an ACL or Achilles, rather.
Yeah, an Achilles, and he was hurt. A decent. I mean, he only missed what? Did he miss any games?
I don't think he missed games,
but he was always on the injury report,
banged
all
up
year,
in one way, shape, or form.
Because he's 42 years old.
Yeah, yeah. I think that you're talking old quarterbacks. There's going to be a couple quarterbacks who are available in this draft who are upper-aged gentlemen. First, I mean, maybe the lowest one would be Jameis Winston, obviously. We kind of already talked about him. Doesn't want to move south or north. He's kind of sounding like he wants to go down south.
Yeah.
So I would kind of X him out.
I wouldn't be mad about it if he does end up signing with the Steelers.
Yeah, I
wouldn't be mad at it.
I wouldn't hate having Justin Fields and Jameis Winston. I think that'd be a good combo.
Yeah,
I think
I would like having Winston as a backup for Justin Fields.
Another guy I wanted to mention who we're probably going to forget about just because of how horrible his season went and how it ended for him is Kirk Cousins will be available.
Yeah, I don't want Kirk Cousins either.
Me neither. Do you think that he still plays in the NFL after this season, or do you think he's done?
I think he's done.
I think he's done too.
I think he's done.
I don't see any team trusting him to be a starter.
Depending on how Penix progresses this offseason into the season.
Well, they're going to cut him.
Yeah, they're going to cut.
They already said that.
He's cut. He's done.
January.
Yeah, I don't want any part of him.
July something first, I think.
Matt Stafford has been also predicted. He's like it's him and Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers are the highest betting favorites to land either of these two guys. I don't like Matt Stafford because, one, he's still under contract, so we would have to trade for him. We'd have to give something up for him to get him here. I do not want to do that unless the Rams cut him, which they might because there is a roster bonus. I forget the actual date, but he's going to get a roster bonus if he's on the roster on this date.
Start of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's July 1st.
No, it's earlier than that.
It's
like
April. There's an April one and a July one.
In April then. Okay. So the one in April, but I believe the Rams are going to cut him before that. So if they cut him, I could entertain them bringing in Matt Stafford.
I would.
For a year.
Mm-hmm. I would like Justin Moore, though.
I would love Justin Moore. I want the Steelers to sign Justin Fields, to a 3-year deal, something like that.
2-3 years.
2-3 years. See what he has. Get him a good a quarterback's coach. Get him help him with his accuracy and help him with control the ball in the pocket when he's moving around and stuff like that.
Get him
because
Cooper Kupp.
the guy Justin Fields has shown that he can be a good passer.
100%.
And if he can be a good passer, that puts him in an elite category with Lamar Jackson, with Jalen Hurts. Well, I wouldn't say Jalen Hurts is elite yet, but he's getting there.
Yeah,
he's getting there.
Yeah, he's
on
the peak of it.
with like a Josh Allen type.
Yeah, because he's mobile and also has the arm to throw that ball down the field.
Yeah.
I think that if we were to go forward with a Justin Fields-like character, who's who I want, I think that it would be great for us to then also include some extremely good route runners, kind of like what people are wanting in that Cooper Kupp or a Deebo Samuel. Now, I don't really love either of them, but it does make sense to have a very good route runner who's very knowledgeable in the game to be out on the field with Justin to kind of help command things as he gets acclimated as the captain of the team, if that was the way it was going to go. If we were to move forward with Justin Fields, which is what I would like to do, I would like to see the backup quarterback be one of these two rookies. I would like either Jalen Milroe in the second, third round or Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, I would like a lot more. I think that over time, Jackson Dart could be as good as Russell Wilson was in his prime. That's what I think of him.
Yeah,
semi-mobile, semi-good at throwing the ball down the field. If you put him on a team with the talent, he's going to perform very well.
Yeah, and just from just seeing little clips here and there about the Senior Bowl, it was Jackson Dart's show.
Not a lot of them
during
stood
Senior
out.
Bowl week.
Right. Not a lot of them stood
Not
out, but
during
he looked
the
best.
actual game, in drills and in practice. He was
the guy.
He was the guy.
Okay.
So I liked him. I liked his play, his game in college, down there at Ole Miss.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss has a lot of guys.
And I would stay away from Jalen Miller. He's got smaller hands than Kenny Pickett.
When you told me that, I thought that was crazy that he has smaller hands than Kenny Pickett, Jalen Milroe. Nobody is mentioning that apparently. I like that he's mobile, and I think that's the only reason that my eye is drawn to him. I did want to mention, I don't know why, but in my brain I keep thinking about this. I think Kirk Cousins ends up on the Giants somehow. Now that we talked about it, I just feel like
I can see that.
I don't know why, but I just feel like Kirk Cousins ends up on the Giants. Another thing I wanted to mention that has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about is Saquon Barkley loves RuneScape, our nerdy game that you and I like. So we have now officially decided Saquon Barkley is the favorite player of the podcast. Yeah. We love Saquon now.
I need to get his jersey.
Yeah, dude. Maybe even get it with like a Addy two-hander on the side of it or something, like a patch. That'd be so cool. That would be so cool. Was there anything else that we didn't really cover that you wanted to cover for today's show, Ben? Anything that happened in news? I mean, there hasn't been much going on at the exact second. We're obviously going to watch the Eagles parade here coming up on Friday. We're not going to watch it, but I mean, you guys can if you like the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to watch it. But, I'm sure Philly's going to have a blast.
Yeah, it'll probably be an awesome time. So there's that coming up. We've got March Madness coming up in the next month. We're going to start breaking into some coverage on that.
We got stuff coming up. I need to brush up on my college basketball for that.
Oh, and we definitely will. We'll probably start watching a little basketball with you guys live. We'll have more NBA news as the NBA unfolds here moving forward into the later half of the season with all these All-Stars moving around. That's going to be a fun playoffs to watch with everybody, new faces on new teams, stuff like that. So it'll be entertaining.
And I'm also willing to talk a little baseball as well. You might be not. I can just do that.
Yeah.
I like baseball. It's a fun game to play. I love playing it when I was growing up and everything. I should have kept playing it throughout high school, but I wanted to focus on football.
I got hit with a pitch once.
Looking back was dumb. But
as soon as I got hit with a pitch, I was like, get me out of here. I'm not playing this ever again.
Dude, I was in warm-ups before a Little League game. I got hit in the forehead with the baseball. Yeah, bro. And it left stitches on the stitch marks.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. I don't play football. I'll go play football and basketball. But we are going to set up a little gaming, guys. We're going to do a little bit of gaming here in a minute. So take a look and make sure you're following along so you get the notification when we pop back up live. I want to shout out and thank all of you guys there on YouTube, you guys listening on Spotify, and those of you who are always with us here on TikTok. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining with us today, and we will see you on the next one. Look for that notification here a little bit.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Peace.
Yeah.